How do you feel about Notre Dame being at number two?
I don't know about. Well, see, I think they definitely deserve to be in the play. All right, I guess here's the one thing that is an undeniable fact. Texas A&M University should be in the college football playoff right now. Do not tell me that Ohio State is a better team than them right now. Don't tell me that. This year, bro, Kellen Mond has been on fire, dude. I mean, except for last week against LSU, it wasn't a pretty game. I mean, we pulled it out, but against the LSU team that's pretty much rebuilding, retooling right now, it wasn't a really great game. But that win against Florida, to me, should be enough to put us ahead of Ohio State right now. Because
that win against Arkansas, too.
Ohio State, you see, that Arkansas win is actually underrated because Arkansas was ahead was very competitive in major games against really good teams. And that win against Arkansas is actually a really good win. But Ohio State, their best win was against Indiana, who's been pretty decent, but they just lost their quarterback for the season. But that's their best win. But they've only played 4 games, but you can't tell me any of their wins is better than our win against Florida.
How do you feel about Notre Dame being at number two?
I don't know about. Well, see, I think they definitely deserve to be in the playoff right now because they've been really, really good. They've gotten good games. Now, personally, I think it's a known fact that Notre Dame is notoriously the most overrated program in the history of the United States of America. But right now, they're actually doing really well. They deserve to be in the playoff. They're a really good team right now.
Hey, what are we thinking about the next game versus Auburn?
I think that's definitely a winnable game. That's definitely a winnable game because Auburn's also reeling a little bit. Right?
Saying like the number 2 school in the SEC, the number 2 ball program in the SEC deserves to be in the playoffs. Period, bro. SEC is one of the the most competitive conference in college football, bro.
Wait, who's number 2 right now in the SEC?
We are.
Okay, I was just making sure. But yeah, I totally. SEC is definitely the most competitive, in my opinion, conference in the country. Definitely.
Yeah, pretty much out of our next 3 games versus Auburn, Mississippi, Tennessee, I think the next game really I wouldn't say decides it, but it's just like an important one compared to the other two.
We should definitely win out. Auburn's not doing. Last week they got blown out by. But it's Bama. Bama's always gonna be.
Yeah, that's our only loss of the season too. So I think it's fair.
As long as Nick Saban is head coaching at Bama, they're gonna be a top team. But
no, but here's the thing: he wasn't successful in the NFL level, but he's fantastic when it comes to just recruiting kids, bro.
No, I really think that's why.
In the next few years, I know a lot of people hate on A&M just because of the culture and everything going on here. But we're going to be a powerhouse, bro, because Jimbo Fisher is an expert when it comes to recruiting.
He's doing a good job.
I really believe that.
Now this incoming recruiting class isn't – this year's recruiting class isn't as good as last year's recruiting class was his best recruiting class by far. He's definitely doing a good job recruiting-wise. He's definitely doing a good job building up this program. It's definitely doing better than that school down in Austin right now. That's terrible.
Hey, the honest question is a lot of people are asking, does A&M deserve to even be number 5, to be ranked above Florida and Cincinnati? I think for sure Florida, because we beat
Florida. We beat Florida. Don't rank Florida ahead of us, but then say, are you kidding me? We beat them.
It doesn't matter if the win was close or whatever they want to say. A win is a win. Dude, we got it over them this season.
Don't get me wrong. Kyle Trask is absolutely on fire for Florida right now, but still, we beat them. We deserve to be ahead of them.
That was a home game for us, right?
What about Cincinnati, who's an undefeated team?
Listen,
bro?
Here's the thing about Cincinnati. Wait, well, I don't even know what conference they're in. They're not a big. They're not a Big Ten. They're not in the Big Ten, are they? They're not even in a competitive conference. So it's going to be really hard for them to even crack the top 5. Let alone now they're in the top 10 right now, but I don't think they're going to crack the top 5 simply because of on strength of schedule, and plus they don't have a reputation.
Bro, what? They're in the AAC.
Exactly. That's the same conference that U of H is in.
Yeah.
So they're not in a really competitive conference.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're not. I don't think they're gonna. And they don't have much of a reputation that precedes them in the football. So it's not really gonna build them anywhere. The thing about about Ohio State. Ohio State is where it is, number 1, because of reputation, because they've also been such a dominant team in the past years, but also because they're the best recruiting school in the nation. They're the best recruiting school.
No, not only that too, but they have a bunch of they have a bunch of players that go on to play at the even higher level, like
No,
at
I know,
the NFL.
I know.
Bro.
I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying. They're the best. They're the best at recruitment in the country. They're better than Alabama. Because a lot like their recruits that go on to the NFL, the majority of them are amazing. They're dominant.
Okay, the problem is, I think, with our season at the A&M, like I said, like I really don't think we passed the eye test. Like when you look at our game, no, look, Vanderbilt we beat by 5
Okay, yeah.
points. Bro.
That
Okay,
was a bad.
Vandy.
Honestly, the
That was a
Vandy
bad
game
one.
was pretty bad. The first game of the season, but that was the first
the
game of
Vandy
the
game.
season, number one. But don't get me wrong, the Vanderbilt game, that was terrible.
Should have been a blowout, but
should have been a
it's
blowout,
the first
but
game. It's the first
Kellen
game. I give
Mond
them a
looked-
pass.
Kellen Mond gave me no hope for the season that first game. I was like, gosh, this is gonna be a total disaster. But
Next
then he
game was
turned
the
it
next-
on, man.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
turned it on.
That next game, man.
They've been hot, and we can easily win out this game. Now, whether or not we make it to the playoff, I don't know.
No,
but
the only thing I'm worried about though, when I see like Kellen Mond, is definitely like he's getting the wins now, so that's good. But like these teams that we're saying, like Vanderbilt, even that LSU game, it could have been like a bigger margin of a win. I feel
Totally
like he just
agree.
needs to like steal these games, kind of just take it over completely, instead of like just leaving it to maybe
No,
like
but
chance.
bro, some days when he's not on, bro,
it's
like,
bad. And
hey,
that was the
hand it off-
case about
hand it
last
off
year,
Isaiah
dude.
Spiller, call it a day, bro.
That was the case about last year, dude. He was horrible last year, man. But
Yeah,
he's
that's like
found his groove right now. He's really good.
exactly.
Hey,
But I think it's good. But in overall, big picture, I think it's gonna be really hard for A&M to make the playoff. I really do, because the 4 teams that are in there right now, they're all unbeaten, but also they all have reputation that tells you that they're gonna be. Like Ohio State, I think that A&M should be ahead of them in the rankings simply because they've only played because Ohio State's played 4 games and they've beaten nobody. But I think they're gonna turn it on in the end, and they're still gonna be competitive in the playoff. But A&M's not gonna end up being ahead. I don't think they're gonna get ahead of Clemson. Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is really good this year. I don't think A&M's gonna get ahead of them, and obviously Bama, they're not gonna beat Bama because number one, that's our only loss this year is against Bama, and so obviously you're not gonna get ahead of them. So if we're gonna get ahead
we
of one
got
team,
blown out, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
yeah. If we're gonna beat out a team to make it to the playoff, it's gonna be Ohio State. That's our only chance of making the playoff. Is if Ohio State is disaster.
I think there's a chance
but-
that like I don't think it's that unrealistic.
Here's the thing, like you know how the committee decides, bro. Everyone's always unhappy, bro. Like when we look at the resume that we've been putting together, bro, like beating Florida, Arkansas, which is a quality defense, and also blowing the brakes off of South Carolina and
Yeah,
just
that
winning
was a
against
great
LSU.
one,
If
South
we win
Carolina.
our next 3 games, Auburn, Mississippi, and Tennessee, if we win those 3 next games, bro, that really puts us into contention with the playoffs,
Absolutely.
The
And
momentum
plus,
that we gain from these next 3, like if we can win them, is actually like pretty huge.
bro. The quality win that we had, honestly, is that Arkansas win, bro. No one talks about it, but Arkansas has such a great defense, dude. I mean, our defense is great too. I mean, mainly the D line. Our secondary is really suspect, bro. That's why we got blown out against Alabama.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Alabama though, so I mean,
I feel like no one can really like complain too much against that. I mean, sure, there's things that we could have improved, but it's Alabama at the end of the day.
Y'all remember that
Like,
catch
subscribe,
Edelman made?
and peace,
The Houston
guys.
Texans game? Bro, that was a good game, man.
thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe. We'll see you later.